Well, it has been, what is this? This is week 3 in a row that we are doing an auction mock draft, trying to learn from our previous errors. My hope and my goal is that by the end of today's stream, I can look back on the auction team that I've drafted and said, that's good enough. It's good enough. The reason I say that is because on Monday night, yes, this coming Monday night, I will be entering my first real Dynasty draft in over 3 years, and it's going to be an auction draft. If you guys missed the announcement on Monday, there was a couple things that we announced. First thing that we announced is that the Atlas League was officially available. Second thing that we announced is that I will be in the Atlas League along with Sammy Stacks. And the third thing that we announced, just the best way to join a Dynasty League, your one-stop shop to be in a league that matters, landleagues.com. It has been awesome. The feedback has been incredible. And let me just start by saying this, guys. I have never been in a situation where a Dynasty League has filled within the span of basically 30 hours. Within 30 hours, there was so much interest from you guys. It completely filled up with all brand new members. So it's going to be a really fun draft, and I'm really excited to see what happens on Monday night. But I'm going to be doing an auction draft. I would love for you guys to join me. I am learning, a lot as I go. Now, first step is to join our Discord. Okay, and in our Discord, you will see the mock drafts tab. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna send the link here, okay, for the mock draft here. So I will definitely appreciate you guys doing us a favor here and getting into this mock draft, helping me learn, cause I'm still just a baby. I'm still just a baby. Okay. Appreciate y'all being here with me. Let me know who I'm hanging out with, okay? Because there is a little bit of news that we need to discuss. For example, the Kirk Cousins stuff. I woke up and I was like, what is going on? Also, I'm live early today. It's the first time I've done this really ever, like go live this early. Let me know what you guys think about it. What's up, Connor? What's up, Let's Go? What's up, Greasy? 10-man, it says 2 hours earlier than usual. Yes, so technically we started the stream late. However, we are earlier than normal, okay? So just trying to keep things in perspective here a little bit. What's up, Spides? What's up, Jason? Jason says, for that money, is Kirk starting? Let's start there. It does look like Kirk Cousins will be the starter for the Las Vegas Raiders this year. First thing I saw was, isn't it a 5-year deal? Can someone confirm that? Like, it was almost jarring to see the contract first. I understand there's a lot of outs there, and essentially what it really pays, what it really like boils down to is a bridge contract. There is apparently 1 year guaranteed, 1 year guaranteed, and I think there's a second year option, if I'm not mistaken. So it looks like he's definitely going to start week 1 for this team. So Kirk Cousins signed a 5-year, $172 million contract, which is actually insane for someone who has not played well, coming off major injury, hasn't looked like the same player since his Achilles tear, to even get, even if it's like fake money at this point. $11 million guaranteed. So there's a very good chance, from everything I've heard from people who are great at looking at contracts, that this is basically a 1-year bridge, okay? Second and third year are all options, which the Raiders will likely decline. But they have been very outspoken in saying that they would like to have someone who's a veteran start. So Clint Kubiak says basically his philosophy for how a young quarterback should get on the field fast. He says, I think in a perfect world, he's watching a mature adult run the offense and the team. But you might have might not have that veteran to show him the way. So he might come in and have to play immediately, but you'd rather him learn before he gets to the game. It doesn't always work out like that, like the way that you want it to. And then he says, ideally, you don't want him to start day one. You love somebody that he could learn behind. So they've wanted him to learn behind something. It looks like Kirk is that guy. He tweeted out the autumn wind. But he's now a Las Vegas Raider. It's kind of crazy, right? I feel like I'm in an alternate reality. I feel like I'm in an alternate universe here where Kirk Cousins is a freaking Raider, man. Oh my gosh. It's absolutely insane. But that is obviously news that will impact maybe the way you view Brock Bowers this year, maybe not, maybe the way you view Ashton Genty. If anything, then there is 100% chance that this is going to be a better offense than it was last year between Kirk Cousins, between Mendoza. Ultimately, like, if Mendoza is just better than Kirk Cousins, they're not going to keep him off the field too long. That's just not going to happen, even with this contract. And you can do something like this when you have a potential rookie coming in this year. What's up, Jeb? Welcome in. What's up, Dynasty Dude? Sparrow, Josh. He says early stream. Oh snap! That's right. It's a auction. What's up, Colin? What's up, Spides? What is up, T Goatsy? Kirko Chains. What's up, Sammy in the building? Sammy says, was going to eat dinner with my family, but now I got to scout this noob. What's up, Faulty? He says it's a good time for Brazil. Appreciate y'all for being here. Honestly, appreciate y'all for being here. What's a big breakfast, Jay Willie? Okay, so I am going to send out this link to join me in today's mock draft. I'm going to send it out in the mock drafts channel. Would love for you guys to join me. I would do it on the Flock site, but we just don't have an auction tool yet, so that's the only reason why it's not on the site. However, in honor of the first league that I will be joining in over 3 years, in honor of the Atlas League, I figured today would be a great day when we do a live team playbook giveaway to make the code word Atlas, okay? So all you have to do to sign up for today's giveaway to win a live team playbook is like today's stream and type Atlas. Those are the 2 key steps to get into today's giveaway. Again, very simple. Like the stream, type Atlas. I will be giving away a live team playbook, customized review of your Dynasty team. I've got a couple of these in the queue as well today, which I will get to. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And shout out to everybody in the Atlas League. Make sure if you haven't done so yet, you check out landleagues.com if you want to be a part of a really, really good Dynasty League. We are constantly have new leagues happening every single week. It is one of the coolest benefits of your membership. I mean, there are many, many benefits to your membership, but it is definitely no doubt about it, a very, very cool website, and there's been great feedback. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start this thing. I made the settings exactly what we have for the upcoming real draft on Monday. Again, on Monday night, come hang out with us. We got a real draft happening, and I'm in it along with Sammy Stacks. And I've got a special thumbnail, by the way. I don't know if Sammy's still out there. I had Kate, who's my incredible graphic designer. She's awesome. I had her whip up a thumbnail, and I think you're going to like it. I'm not really the guy to put my face on a thumbnail, but I thought, you know what? This league filled up in 30 hours. You know, I'm going to put my face on the thumbnail here. Okay. I also built out a little tool on the back end for myself that I'm going to kind of play around with. And if it ends up being a good tool, I might end up releasing it on the Flock site as anybody else out there who wants to do auction. Okay. This is how an auction draft works. We have $200 budget. That's how it's going to look like on Monday night. There's $200 budget. You have a start 10 Superflex league. Okay. And it is a 0.5 tight end premium. Now, in today's draft, you can draft rookies. On Monday night, we will be doing kickers and doing I think a separate rookie draft. I'll have to double check with our commissioner Joel, but let's go ahead and start this auction draft. And this is the exact settings that we will use for Monday Night's Real Draft, by the way. It'll be a 10-second nomination clock and then a 10-second bid clock. But here's the deal. Every time someone bids, every time someone drops a bid, the clock resets to 10 seconds. So it's not like you only have 10 seconds to make your entire bids. So let's see how this goes. As Drake May is the first player here up for grabs. Up to $39. It's not bad, honestly. This is not bad at all from what I've seen previously. Okay. I just don't want to be the first guy to pop it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Okay, Jaden Daniels up for grabs. And let me be very, very clear, guys. When Monday night happens and we have a real auction draft, I will manipulate things as much as I can. Just so we're all on the same page. As much as I can manipulate something, I will try my best to. Drake May went for 41. I'll get in there. I'll get in there on my guy, Jaden. Okay. All right. We have already started our draft differently to how we did last time. So let's see how this goes. I'm sure that was a terrible decision, and I'm sure I'll find out very soon as to why it was. Unfortunately, the tool that I built out isn't working at all, but Bijan Robinson currently at $40. 40 buckaroos for Mr. Bijan. Now up to $43 for Bijan Robinson. Sammy says, what a noob for paying $38 for Unk. Yes. We are... let's get something very clear. We are absolutely noob. We are absolutely noob central here. Okay. Bijan Robinson off the board for 43. That is the third pick that was made. Jamar Chase now available. $43 is the price, which is cheap considering he's always going ahead of Bijan and these other guys in startups. That's not a bad price, I don't think. I don't think that's a bad price at all. Trying to catch up with the chat here as Puka Nacua. Sorry. Okay. Puka Nacua currently on the board for $41. He's now at $42. Remember, when you bring a Puka Nacua to your roster, this is a guy that he has a bite that will last a long time. He's got a lot of, you want a dog that's got some bite to him. And Puka's in that category in my opinion. What's up, Nick? Welcome in. What's up, Lou? Says you're mocking Gooner. Big Breakfast says that keyboard sounds immaculate. Yes, this is not a promo at all, but I've got the Newfie keyboard, which I'm a big fan of. Only thing I wish is that I'm a big number pad guy, and I wish that the number pads looked a little bit like they were spaced out a bit. Josh Allen currently OTB, $44 on Joshy. And I think he's going to be the highest bidded player so far, which is not a surprise. $44 off the board for Joshy Allen. What I want to avoid is... Okay, let me guys walk you through my auction experience so far. The first auction that I did, I went way too hard on players. and it led to me having almost nothing to fill out the rest of my league with. The second auction I did, I went way too hard in the other direction. And as Jeremiah Love for $36 is not bad at all whatsoever. I'm going to put... I didn't mean to do that, but okay, sure. A monitor's on the block. So I need to find like a good... I need to find like a really good happy medium. Josh says, any chance you'll do another league, but this time not let new members in for free so we can all have a chance in the raffle? I mean, Josh, that's kind of like a little counterintuitive though, isn't it? Like the whole idea of LAN leagues is to make sure everyone has a chance to be in a league that really matters, you know? So I always want to offer people who are not in a league yet the chance to be a part of one. You know what I'm saying? Kind of get where I'm coming from there? I would find it hard to tell new members like, hey man, sorry, if you're going to decide to support me, I'm not going to give you a spot in this league. Wyatt says, so did 9 new members sign up to get into Atlas? Yes, that's exactly what happened, and it happened within like 30 hours. Nick says, what do dogs do? They bite. Okay, so Jahmyr Gibbs comes off the board for $40. $3 cheaper than Bijan. $4 more expensive than Jordan Love. Okay, Joe Burrow on the block. Okay, so currently $35 for Joe Burrow. It's not a bad price, honestly. Like, it's relatively fair for Mr. Joe. Wyatt says, well, this stream started a lot earlier than I thought. It was gonna. Missed out on the auction draft. Again. Big Break says, love the Flock site. Can't afford it, but use the trade calculator rankings all the time. Oh, that's awesome, man. Glad to hear you can still be a part of it that way. He just means if you're in the league, new people will sign up. Yeah. Well, I've said this for many, many years, though, guys. I've told people many times, like, I'm aware that if I just jumped into a new league every week, there would be a lot of people who would sign up just to do that. That's not my intention with these leagues. My intention with these leagues is to give everyone a chance to be a part of a really good league, and I'm only going to be a part of it if I really believe that I can add it to my current list of leagues and be a good member in that league. Does that make sense? Like, I never want to just... Being fully transparent, I could start 30 new leagues every year and be a part of them, and people would want to sign up. I'm aware of that. But it would be a terrible product for you. It'd be a terrible league for you guys to be in because I wouldn't be able to keep up with that many leagues. By the way, Jackson Smith-Njigba just went off the board. He is now your new highest paid player for $45. Which, honestly, is not that bad of a price. I have seen him go for like $49, $50. He is a 101 for some people. What's painful is to see him go for $45, and then you have Gibbs for $40, Bijan for $43. That's what's probably more painful than anything. Josh says, makes sense. Just want to play in a league with you. Yes, I get it. But hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. Brock Bowers. It's a 0.5 tight end premium. Let's see. So this is cheaper than Jeremiah Love in a tight end premium. I don't want to build my team out that way, but I don't think that's a bad price at all. In fact, I'm kind of intrigued to see the way Scott's building out his team there. Okay, Jorge Pickens on the clock. Okay. I'm not going to let him go that cheap. I don't know. I wish my tool was working. I built out a tool for this. Let's see. Let me see. I need to pull up my tool again. I had this whole plan. Okay, let's see. Can I get this tool to work? I wanted to see if it was actually a functional tool that would help auction drafts. Yeah, it's not really showing anything. Okay, who was just drafted? Okay, now we got Trey McBride on the block, OTB. Trey McBride. Bowers went for 33, so this is not too expensive, actually. McBride, I'll go to 29. 0.5 tight end premium. Give me a hammer. I'm going to let someone else figure that out then. $30 for Trey. Not bad. Code sentiment in the draft? No. Sammy says, Zach built a tool. Real men draft off of vibes. Oh my gosh. Good question, T-Gotsy. Okay. Who was just drafted? I need to pay attention. Oh my gosh, Keon Coleman was actually drafted. I thought you guys were joking, but Keon Coleman was on the block the entire time. And he only went for $1. That's actually hilarious. I thought Gotsy was joking. Okay, it looks like Tyler Warren's going to be coming off the board there. It's my turn to nominate a player. I'm going to nominate Durka. No, Aselamo's... You know what? Aselamo's got to stop getting into these drafts, man. Okay? I don't like doing auction drafts with Aselamo. He's got too much knowledge of auctions. Or he's just getting lucky each time. I don't know. Okay, right. Rolo says you can go to results in the bottom right. Results. Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Rolo's like, if I hear this guy say who was drafted one more time, I'm gonna lose it. No, I appreciate the heads up there. Okay. Lamar Jackson. OTB. OTB. I put all I had out there. We're about to start. Oh, I got cucked a little. I think he's worth more, but I'm going to let you have him. Gotsy starts his draft Lamar, Allen, and Gibbs. Not bad. Not bad. Jeb says auction drafts are a perfect draft format for Sammy Stacks. No code cinnamon roll. Yeah, I know, right? Maybe he finally won't break it. Okay. Nico Collins. See, again, I guess the market has already been established here, right? So Nico's on the OTB for $28. $28 for Mr. Nico. And yeah, I mean, that's the market for that tier of receiver. It was set by George Pickens for $27. So the market really does determine a lot there. We're at 27 for Ted McMillan. Don't forget about wide receiver 1, Keon Coleman. Wyatt says, I used the flock tier rankings when I did my auction startup. Made a chart with players and a spot for their money. Brought the deals in tiers as they unfolded. Had their one ranked team per flock. That's interesting. That's interesting. Ted McMillan for 30. I just couldn't get to 30 when I'm seeing Pickens at 27 and Nico at 28. I wanted to be in, but I couldn't. I couldn't really. Oh, okay. Actually, that's not bad. Amon St. Brown went for 39 here. Okay. $36 for Justin Jefferson. Not bad at all. J-Mo definitely building this team around the wide receivers. Wyatt says, I used the flock tier rankings when I did my auction. I made a chart with players and a spot for their money. Brought the deals in tiers. I understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to visualize what that looks like. And I can't fully visualize it for some reason. Like, logically, I understand what you're saying. All right. I'll give you Darty for 32. We are live early, Scribbles. That's right. Ashton Shunty. I said this earlier, but just trying it out. I also there's also a really important Thunder game here at 12:30. Well, 12:30 my time. Thunder take on the Lakers, which I want to watch. So I figured, let me go early, kind of see what the vibes is. If there's an earlier crowd out there, you know, have some fun. Okay. Remember, Jeremiah Love goes for $36. Hampton for 36. And it looks like Ginty's going to go for 37 buckaroos. Yeah. If I do an early stream like this, it will only be for Thursday nights. I'm not sure, again, if I'm even going to like this. Just trying to, just trialing it out for fun. You know, my name's Rod. I like to party. CeeDee Lamb, OTB, OTB. Come get your CDs. Come get your CDs. You want a CDs? Okay, what did we had? Chase go for 43. We had Amon-Ra go for 39. Okay. I wanted to make sure he went for at least a Amon-Ra range, so I pushed it to 38. I was comfortable buying him for that price too. Okay, this is weird to put Tyler Shuck on. Like I'm curious to see what this will look like. Scott's saying I'll pay $7 for him. That's what I've got. It's weird because I feel like I have no idea how to... Yeah, that's the situation. I don't really know what to do there. You kind of threw a little curveball at me. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I am actually, like, this auction tool that I told you guys about, I'm testing it as I'm drafting. And, let me see. Is it going to work? Devon Achane. Oh, I'll get in there. I'll get in there. I'll get in there on Mr. Devon. Okay, welcome home, Devon Achane. $34. $2 cheaper than a Marion. I'll take it. I am diagnosing this tool as we go, by the way. Okay, Malik Neighbors here up for grabs. And this is making CeeDee Lamb look really affordable. $42 for Malik Neighbors. I did take Unka's quarterback one. So what did Shuck go for? Shuck went for $9. See, I don't even know if that's a good price or not. We won't find out for a while, I don't think. But I do think Scott's building a nice team here. Why it says was basically your rankings on the Flock site I put into Excel for each position. Then I bid on the players whose values were far under the rest in their tiers. So for example, like Malik Neighbors in his tier, you would, from what I'm understanding here, you would see what other players went for first, and then what other players are in that tier that were more affordable, you would buy. Am I understanding that properly? I want to kind of do what Scott did with Tyler Shuck there. I'm going to bet on a player that I don't think anybody's going to like. I'm just going to see how cheap he can go for. Okay. Interesting, Wyatt. Interesting. Very interesting. Big Breakfast says Shuck at any price is a steal. Look, I put Laporte out there because I thought he was going to go for like $4, but he went for $9, which was more than I thought he was going to go for. I'm not going to lie to you. Colson Loveland here. Currently a $25 bid. Fault is just going to have all the tight ends in this league is what it looks like. Fault has 3 tight ends, no running back, no wide receiver, and 1 quarterback. And I couldn't tell you if the deals he's getting on those tight ends are good or not. I don't really know, honestly. Wyatt said, I waited pretty much until pretty much each team had probably 4 or 5 guys before started bidding. Then the prices stayed lower on the big name guys because the teams couldn't afford to pay high on them. Right. Bears, I think auction's a lot of like getting your hands dirty, man. It's a lot of getting your hands dirty and getting into mocks and kind of learning the ropes. What I will say is, from my limited experience, I do believe that every draft, and people who have been in auction drafts, you can tell me if you agree or disagree, feels like every draft determines what people are willing to pay. So it's not like you can use the last 10 mock drafts that you've done and say, this is what people pay for this player, because it'll be completely thrown out the window when when you're in a real draft, because it all comes down to how, you know, your league actually bids. Fault says no more tight end nominees, please. Well, Fault, why do you keep betting on all the tight ends? That's right. Sammy said it better. The room determines the market. Fault's like, guys, please stop betting on tight ends. And he has 3 of them. Brother, you don't have to bid on the player. Oh, that's funny. All right. We have Carnell Tate, $23. $23 for Carnell. That is Shaz's first receiver. Drizzy. We got Drizzy. OTB Drizzy. Far out, man. I'm getting priced out of all of these top receivers, man. I'll get in there. Dang, like looking back, I honestly wish I would have gone heavier on the Amon-Ra's Chases, Neighbors. Okay. I'm not upset about our start here so far, guys. I'm not upset. I think 36 for Drake is not cheap when CD goes for 38. I'm not going to lie. Is Drake London worth $8 more than Nico Collins? Don't know. Is he worth $6 more than Tet? Probably. We haven't really set the market for a player like Chase Brown yet. I mean, Derrick Henry went for 13. But Chase is obviously more valuable than Derrick Henry. He's got a projected price of 29. 29? Yeah, I was curious to see what that price would be. $22 for Chase Brown. That's kind of set the market for these tier, what would you call that? Like tier 4 running backs. I'm imagining Breece Hall goes for a similar price in that range. Johnny Taylor on the block. Style says, when you nominate Keon as a joke, but joke's on you because now you have to roster Keon. Oh, jeez. All right, Egbegbu up for grabs here. Emeka Egbegbu. Oh, what was the joke behind that? Like, why did we start saying that? I don't even know what the joke was. Anyway. Emeka Egbuka for $30. 29, sorry. Basically the same price as Nico Collins. Travion Henderson. Levi says, if the room is creating a market that is overvaluing wide receiver, wouldn't you want to zag and grab value at other positions? So having those baselines going to help understand the market within your room. I feel like the other positions have already been priced at what people are willing to pay at this point of the draft. So in my experience, which is what I tried to do last week, if you wait too long and you get none of these top players, you're going to be looking back on your team and it's just going to be completely mid across the board, and you're going to say to yourself, well, damn. You know, like I wanted to have some better players on this roster. Certainly it's a balance, isn't it? Certainly it's a balance. James Cook for 26. Gronk said it on Fox. Okay. I thought you guys were saying Grok as in like the AI. Okay, Gronk said it on Fox. I thought everyone was like, yeah, dude, that's how Grok says it. Brown says, I don't know why, but Daniel's A-Chan in London seems like the most Dynastyland start ever. Probably feels that way because I pretty much I had Daniels in London in the Flock League this year, so that's probably why it feels that way. All right, Mendoza, I'm going to just put my top line offer here. That's the most I can pay. No code cinnamon. Big says, I always feel like it's dangerous to zag when position is highly valued because you'll get good value everywhere. Buys it maybe, but it can really tough to get that position later because the market is shown in the draft. I think you're kind of saying what I was saying there, but I know T-Godsy, we'll never let it down. I'll never let myself forget it. All right, Mendoza currently going to go for 17 buckaroos. You know, it is interesting in an auction, Mendoza's always far cheaper than the rookie receivers. So I find that interesting. Geez, I keep forgetting to put someone in my queue to nominate. Okay, Trevor. $13 for Trevor Lawrence. Okay, you guys are all, come on, let's play the game. Let's play the game, okay? It's time to play the game. Who's the best? Like, I guess Dart's the best representative here. He went for 32. Man, I was about to say, I hope he doesn't go that cheap. Chaz is the only one without a quarterback here to start. And that's probably a decent price on Trevor, honestly. Sparrow says, I feel good about Mendoza for 17. Not bad. Not bad at all. So we do get a $29 Trevor Lawrence, which I don't think is a bad price at all, honestly. Again, let's play the game here. Come on, y'all. Let's play the game. Okay. I think we're going to get our... Oh. Chaz says, I got to get in there. Okay. I'm going to let you go, Chaz. So, Justin Herbert goes for 31. Similarly priced to Trevor. Similarly priced to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts looks like a pretty good value there. King. No, I'll spend at least 50 on Singleton for sure. For sure. Okay, Roma Dunze. I'm trying to look at similarly ranked player in a similar tier for me. He's up to $23 here. $24. Would this be a Buka range? I guess it depends on your rankings. So Dunze goes for 25. That is now, I'm assuming, going to kind of set the market for those type of receivers. Browner says, how much would you have spent on Burke on his draft year? At least 60. At least 60, if not more. It's time to play the game. Bo Nix up to 25. I'm just not going to let him go that cheap. I bid. You guys saw me bid on him, didn't you? You guys saw me click the bid button. What the hell, man? I literally bid on him. That's lame, dude. That's lame, dude. Okay, so Dak goes for 23. I like the stack Z ways he has here as well. Not a bad team, Z ways he's building up there. Not a bad team at all. Okay, Olave is currently up to $22. Roland, who has 2 players here, is putting a bid on him. It's not automatically... This is what's happening. It's not automatically updating my bid to like the highest number. See, why is it not updating my bid to the highest number? That's what's annoying me. Sleeper's bugging out. Okay, looks like we're about to get Chris. Welcome home, Chris Olave. Same price as a Emeka Egbuka, basically. I'm fine with that. Love Emeka Egbuka, but I think we'd all be very happy if he had an Olave season like Olave did this last year. See, why is it not... Am I tripping, guys? Doesn't it normally, like, update your bid automatically to the latest bid if you hit it? I'm going to refresh here. Okay, I think now it's finally doing it. Yeah, that must have been what happened with Dak Prescott. It must have bugged out. I'm gonna let y'all hear the draft sounds. Okay. We just had Brock Purdy for $29. Not bad. Not bad price on Brock. Bashul Tootin. Scootin' Tootin' Boogie. Up to 9. Sammy. I've got all of them in the bag. Spides. I just need a system that is honest with me here with Sleeper. That's all I'm asking. Just for honest transparency. All right, so Tootin goes for $10. Oh, I did this thing again. Sleeper's a little buggy right now, isn't it? A little buggy. A little buggy right now. Okay. Last player that went was Fannin for 15, which is actually a steal. I wish I was here to bid. Dang, well done. Well done. Okay, let me see if this auction tool is finally functioning. I planned on using this auction tool the entire time, and it hasn't really functioned properly thus far. But Okay, my turn to nominate a player. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's put Christian on the block. Let's put Christian on the block. Okay, Christian McCaffrey for 20 bucks. Which I probably would have paid. I probably would have been willing to pay that. Delage here with a Taylor McCaffrey, Williams, Lawrence, Lamb team. Garrett Willie. Currently OTB. Okay. So we did just have Garrett Wilson go for 29, which is about what Olave went for anyway. Wow, Styles just drops his nuts on the table. $21 for Breece Hall there. Selmo's just sitting in the chair right now. He's just watching everyone have fun. I don't like it. I don't like drafting with the Selmo. I don't trust you, Selmo. I don't trust you, man. I don't trust you. CJ says, I want to share your content, but no way people are going to take you serious if you're still pronouncing the G in Egbuka. Man, I'm sorry. I just don't care if people take me seriously or not. They'll either like my content or they won't. I don't feel a need to prove anything to anyone. Y'all come out and hang out if you like me. If you don't, you don't gotta be here. Ricky Pearsall for $4 looks like a potential nice value there. All right, let's catch up with the chat here. Jonah says, why did I think this was starting an hour from now? Probably because that's typically when it starts. Sorry. I just wanted to try something different today. Let's see. Spider says, if you click plus at the bottom, then the summons bid up. It bugs for me. Yeah. Rice OTB. I feel like this is pretty affordable, so I'm gonna be in here at this price. I guess there is risk here, but I just feel like this is okay. I'm out. I'm not going to be able to do a whole nother auction mock. They just take too long to do multiple ones. Sorry, Jonah. Wyatt says, I'm also curious how the amount of money you start with changes the way bidding goes on players. It definitely does. Like, if you had an $1,000 budget, which we're not going to do for the real draft, it would take too long. See, Brophy says, would you rather have Fannin and Olave or JSN for the same price? Probably Fannin and Olave. Okay, Ken Walker, currently OTB. I've got the highest bid here of 24. Okay, I'll take that. $3 more expensive than Breece Hall. I'm fine with that personally. I mean, honestly, you look at, like, what rookie pick would you have to send for Ken Walker? I feel like you have to send like the 102, 103, 104 range at minimum. For Breece Hall, I think you could probably send the 106 in most leagues, so I'm fine to pay a $3 difference there myself. Connor says, I didn't want Brees. Yeah, that's the tough part, Connor. That happens sometimes. You try and push a player's price up, and you didn't actually want them. Sometimes you can play yourself. We've all been there. We've all been there, my friend. Jared Garf. Jared Goff price is up to $23. I'll get in here. Yeah, I think that's probably around what he should go for. So Styles gets him for 24. Seeing the Dak at 23 kind of made me think that's probably the max that I could go. I'm trying to build out this auction tool on the back end. Okay, T. Higgins. T. Higgins OTB. T. Higgins OTB. Okay, T. Higgins is going to go for $21. Not bad, honestly. Not bad. Gotzi's getting some steals here, too. I mean, we won't talk about Keon Coleman, but $4 Ricky. $15 J-Mo. That's not bad. Coleman says, would you guys rather have Walker or the 104? That's the question. Well, let's hear some responses to him in the chat there. Noah says your team's dirty. I'm assuming that's like in a good way. Duddy. Kyron Williams. I'm gonna make y'all pay at least this. I'm gonna make y'all pay at least this if you want him. At least this if you want him. I'll take him. I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna let him go cheaper than 20. I know how this game can work sometimes. I would have paid 20 for Kyron and been happy. Now, I'm not necessarily needing a running back, but that's maybe a steal. I don't know. I don't really know. We'll have to wait and find out, won't we? Damn it. I was hoping no one would want him. What did DeAndre Swift just go for? $7? $7 for DeAndre? See, it doesn't always work. I know I was pretty drastic there. It doesn't always work when you put a player on the block that you really don't have any interest in. It doesn't really always work, does it? Browner says, what's the advantage of not buying anything at the start? Well, there's a world where if people spend too much on certain positions, you can scoop up all the rest of the, like, middling players later on and build a really nice team. But I don't think this draft people are overspending, to be honest. Like, I've been in drafts where people are spending like $55 for one player. 55 fries, 55 burgers. And I don't think that is happening in this draft here, so look, I'm not a Jordan Love guy, but I'm not letting him go this cheap. I'll take him as my quarterback, too. I feel like that's too cheap for him. but I'm going to let you have him. I'm not going to lie. So far, of all the auction mock drafts I've done, through like getting to this point of the draft, I am the happiest right now with this team. Ooh, thought I was about to get Judkins on the cheap. I mean, I think Judkins should be more expensive than a Kyron personally, but that is the price. It looks like $21 is the price in that range, which does make me feel good about the Ken Walker buy again. Yeah, I agree, Styles. $14 JMO was a good deal. $18 Devonta Smith. Styles says, I would love this start if it was a real draft. Yeah, I like the team you're putting together there, Styles. Emeka Egbuka. So is there some, way that you're supposed to say Egbuka's name that people are going to be upset at if you don't say it a certain way? Quite frankly, I think some people care way too much about silly things like that, but let me know. Is there some particular way you're supposed to say his name? Okay, AJ Brown for 17. I like that price. I like that price. Am I about to get my next flex? Bang! $3 more expensive than Derrick Henry. Oof. Bucky's going to be too expensive for me with the way I've built this team out. Yeah, I think Bucky's going to be too expensive for me. But he certainly should go for at least the Judkins Kyron prices. Okay. Do we finally have an auction tool that works? Let's find out. Put sleeper draft link. Here we go. Copy. Load draft. Here we go. That's my team. Okay. Lad Mashonky. Couldn't get on the Lad price if I wanted to. I can't afford it. Lad goes for 27 buckaroos. This is going to be interesting. Kyler Murray. Joshua says, if Travis Etienne can say his name as HN, you can do whatever you want. All right, Kyler Murray for $14. Not a bad price. I will say, for all the tight ends that Fault drafted, the team could look significantly worse at this point than it does. I don't think I can do any longer than this. I mean, you guys, y'all got to keep in mind the amount of bench spots we're going to have in the real draft. There's no way I can make it longer than it's already going to be here. You know what I'm saying? It's already so long. Jalen Waddle. Mike says, does auction just turn to a draft? If everybody uses their budget, and let's say you end up in like round 12 or something, and everyone has like $1 left to spend on every player, then yeah, it'll basically turn into like a regular draft at that point. Jalen Waddle for $16 is a pretty good deal, honestly. What did AJ Brown went for 17, if I remember properly. Mekhi Lemon's got, I mean, I don't have any money to bid on him, but I imagine he's going to go for a pretty penny. Carnell Tate went for 23. Happy bidding. I can't bid. I'm not eligible anymore. Okay. It's my turn to nominate. And I'm going to nominate Gadsden. I walk up to the preacher man. I'll get in there. I need a cheap option. Selma. Okay. Gadsden goes for 7. This is, I mean, clearly I'm not going to be a serious contender here. I'd like to be. Yeah, I can't offer anymore. I imagine this is going to be a bid between Roland and Aselmo. I can't believe with the way Aselmo's roster looks, he almost let Marvin go for $15. This is, I mean, congratulations, Roland. Wow. Some of y'all with some money got to figure out who you're going to be spending it on. I mean, maybe I'm a dumbass. That's a very possible explanation. It's a very possible explanation. Tigazzi says, do you like Gadsden outlook this season? I'm indifferent on Gadsden, honestly. I just need to, I need to go bargain shopping here in the bargain bins. I like the core of what we built out. In hindsight, maybe Jacobs was too expensive, but we'll have to wait and see if that's true or not. Dynasty Flock, what's up, Mason? He says, every time you do this, I feel like studs are undervalued. Bijan should be more than Kyron Judkins combo, as an example. I think... How many auctions have you done, Mason, out of curiosity? I just don't think that people think that way in an auction, if that makes sense. It's hard. It's hard because I don't think you can. I'm learning as I go. To be clear, Mason, like I'm not, you know, the end all be all of auction drafts. He says probably 10-ish. Was what first one was 2014. Yeah. I just feel like everything determines the market based off of the prices people are willing to pay in that particular draft. But right. Studs are undervalued. Bijan should be more than Kyren and Judkins combo. Kyren and Judkins. Well, he is. He is 43. They're 42 combined. Right? But it's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. Auction drafting is not easy. It is difficult to manage this money properly. Let's Go says, I honestly hope you guys stick with liking Snake. Some channels act like Snake doesn't exist. Really? I haven't really seen many channels that don't do snake drafts. But I could be wrong there. Brian Thomas Jr., $16. Aselmo does it again. Kyle Pitts off the board for $9. Not a bad price. It was a weird market for tight ends here, considering Fault took 3 of them early. Mason says, doesn't matter what the feel is in the auction itself. Dynasty trade value normalizes 1 month later. I don't know, man. I would find it hard. Like, so what do you think Bijan should be going for, Mason? Let's use Bijan as the example here. Because to fill out a start 10, it feels like if Bijan goes any higher than that, and I could be wrong. I don't know. It's going to be hard to fill out that roster. I mean, you can do the studs and scrubs strategy, right? Where you've got a couple studs and then you just fill out the rest with dollar players. You all right, Bob? You okay? Come here. Baker Mayfield. Salmo was gonna make me pay the max. Some of y'all, I mean, look, I just don't get, why did we just let Aselmo have Baker for $14? I don't get that. Some people desperately need quarterback. I'm one of them. I don't understand why we just let Baker go for $14. Some of these guys with shmoney. Is what it is. Wyatt says Bijan went for 645 out of a $2,500 budget in my last auction draft, so roughly 1/4 of the budget. Right, 1/4 of the budget, which like Bijan here is 43, right? So that's roughly 22% of the budget, around that. Would I rather have Jameson Williams and Olave or Jamar Chase? Very easily Jamar Chase. Come on. Come on. Come on. You know the answer to that one. Zay Flowers goes for $19. So we're starting to see Anselmo build out his squad. Okay. Javonte Williams. I'm already priced out of Javonte Williams, but we've got Scott, who has RJ Harvey as RB2. He's probably going to be aggressive along with Anselmo. Roland has built a nice team, honestly. Man, it's hard to land one of those quarterback twos in a format like this. Cool says exactly. Now look at the bids. Jamar went for less than JMO and Olave. Right. Like, I understand that, but Olave was also relatively expensive in this draft by me. What did Jamar Chase go for here? Jamar Chase went for $43. $43. Yeah. So what do you guys think these players should be going for then? Like, truthfully, you guys think the Pukas, JSN, Chases, Bijans, you guys think they should be going for $55 or something? Like, what is the price you're putting on these players? Out of curiosity. $11 for DJ Moore. Not a bad price at all, Gotsy. JMO says, I think top guy should have went for like $5 more-ish on average. Okay. He says, first draft, they were too expensive. Right, I remember that first draft. I can't remember exactly how much they were going for. Transparently, no. Ty Simpson went for $1. How come that doesn't happen to me? I nominate these players that nobody wants, and then they go for like $9. DK Metcalf. OTB, OTB. Get your DK Metcalfs. Wow. I wish I was paying attention. I would have bid more for Devontae Adams than $5. Great deal, Delage. Great deal. Light him up. Light him up. Cool man says, I agree, top guys need to go for a little bit more, but it's also more the fact that you cannot feel rushed to fill out your lineup and overpay for the mid-tier guys. Sure. Sure. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Tyreek Hill goes for $1. Let's put Romeo Doubs OTB. Romeo Doubs OTB. I really didn't want Romeo Doubs, I'll be honest with you, but $2 is probably a pretty good deal. Gotsy's team is so perplexing to me. I truly don't know what to think about it. Honestly, I can't figure it out. Let's go. It says, if you increase the price much more to 1/4 of the budget, then you have 9 other spots to fill. Well, that's just your starting lineup, right? But I think that Coolman's making a fair point here when he says, you know, basically, it's not so much about how much the top guys are going for. It's more about not going too hard on these middling players, which I can understand. Jadarian Price goes for 3. That's a great price for him. Bryce Young goes for 6. And I'll be honest, Selemo's plan here is perplexing. I don't understand what Selemo's plan is here. He's definitely cucking me on the quarterbacks. Kyle Monongai goes for Tree. $3 for Kyle Monongai. Matthew Stafford. Man. It feels gross to pay this much for Matt, but yeah. I just have to maybe kick quarterback 2 entirely and figure out after the draft. I want to figure out what some of these guys' plans are, what they're doing with these quarterbacks. Some of these builds today are just so interesting. Wandale Robinson, wide receiver 1, Tennessee, $6. What a steal, Mike. What a steal. Why so few benches? Because I don't want to be doing this mock draft for 17 hours. Just trying to get some practice in here. Cool. I'll take it. I am not a Jake Ferguson guy at all whatsoever. In fact, I don't even really like Jake Ferguson, but I'll take him for Tree. Here we go. Michael Wilson. Get your bids in for Big Mike. Michael Wilson for $4. $3, sorry. Roland continues to build a really, really nice team there. It's crazy because Jaylen Warren's going for $2, and I just don't know that I really care. Mac Jones. Yeah, I'm going to let you have him, honestly. Malik Willis. I think I might just have to punt quarterback entirely, honestly. I'll put my hat in the ring, but I feel like I'm getting trolled now. I'm not even going to bid. I'm going to make you draft another quarterback. I feel like Aselmo is just trolling me at this point. What am I looking at? What am I looking at, Aselmo? Mason says someone could draft Mahomes, Puka, Jefferson, Jason, and fill out the roster with $2 to $3 fill-ins at these prices without trading any 27 picks. It's true. Okay, let me ask you another question then, Mason. This hypothetical world, if you spend all your budget and you go the scrubs and studs strategy, who are you trading with to fill out your roster after the startup? You know, what team are you trading with? Do you feel like right after a start, there's going to be many eligible deals out there that you can wiggle? I feel like it's that difficult transition period where you finish a startup and it's going to be hard to make many big moves. Let me know though, because the whole goal of me doing this is I want to learn. J-Mo says, is Jefferson, Chase, and Monra a good wide receiver room? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. No, obviously it's fantastic. Okay, Brody says auctions have the most post-draft moves of any startup. That's fair. I feel like Omar Cooper is one of the only cash cows left here. All right, so we welcome aboard Omar Cooper. Jason says J-Mo's problem is he needs to fill 3 more starting spots and the rest of his bench with $10. I guess it does depend on... Oh my gosh, did Mike Evans just go for $3 while I was not paying attention? Damn. I'm not gonna lie, during the real draft, I gotta be more locked in. Rico Shadow. So Gotzi's almost got his full team here. Jackson, Allen, Gibbs, Swift. Wide receiver's tricky there. Let's just say DJ is Jameson and DJ. Sadiq. Not in love with it. Not in love with it. Terry McLaurin. Goes for $6. Guys, how did... I know I'm trying to entertain the draft room and reply to comments, but how did we let Mike Evans go for $3? Zach Charbonnet. Yeah. You can definitely... But that's assuming you've got the Juwan Jennings of this year, though, no? I agree with $3 Mike Evans. That he shouldn't have been that cheap for sure. I mean, these are all fair points. All fair points. JMO says, I'd probably have to trade one of my wide receivers to tear down to a quarterback if I could. Right, because you've got Stroud. Right. Cool Man says, yeah, but the team he drafts isn't the team. Yeah, I agree with that idea. Obviously, like, I say that in all my reviews, so I get that. I get that. I think there may be some trolling from Aselmo in this one, though. The Mike Evans for $3 is ridiculous. He shouldn't have been that cheap. And ideally, you find those guys if you go the studs and scrubs strategy. So I get that. Logistically. I think that's fair. Jonah Coleman. Oh, at this point of the draft, it's disgusting, isn't it? Who still has money left? Styles has $18. Aselmo has $10. What do I think of Rico? Overall, not that intrigued by that backfield. I think Jaylen Warren's probably the guy to own for now, but I imagine it's probably going to be a split between Rico and between Jaylen Warren there. Would prefer not to really be too involved in that backfield, unless the price is really affordable. Sammy says, okay, let's see. Okay, good. I looked at the quarterbacks and I said to myself, who could I just take a shot on that I know I will get for $1? And I thought Michael Penix would be that. Sammy says, $200 budget pushes everyone closer than they should be at the top. Right. $1,000 budget would have been a much larger spread. Wouldn't get to $1 bids nearly as fast in $1,000. Mason says, yeah, look at max bid for everyone. About to see a lot of serviceable guys at $1 to $2. No, for sure, I get that part. I get you. Penix says, Sammy says, Penix for $1 when your last player is $1 is kind of nuts. Just got to get someone in that quarterback room. I looked and I said, would I take this guy later on if nobody wants him for $1? Yes. Denzel Boston just went for $6. Okay. So Aselmo definitely waited and took his time. I don't think the strategy worked out as well for him this time around. He did the similar strategy as Mach 1. I'd be curious to hear his thoughts. He's got, I guess the starting lineup right now would be, and of course, right, he can make trades, but Nix and Baker for now. Then Bucky, Javonte, T-Mac, Thomas, Gadsden. He's flexing Zay Flowers, which is not bad at all. and then he'll figure out the rest. He's got on his bench, I would imagine, Mendoza, Young, Willis. Here's the thing. The quarterback hoarding, I don't know that it works with guys like Bryce Young and Malik Willis, because if you go around and you approach people and you want them to pay up, I don't think you can really use the Bryce Youngs and the Malik Willises to kind of maneuver your roster very well. But I don't know. Oh, he says I'm going with my team. Sammy says, I just mean he's worth more than that, likely right. And when player goes 300 for $1, that's unbalanced, you know. Goes 300 for $1. Sammy, what are you? You're speaking a different language to me at this point. I don't know what you're saying. Ramondre Stevenson. This is another one of them guys Mason's talking about. Serviceable guys. The serviceable guys. Player number 300. Okay. So what is your suggestion then to be better? Or are you suggesting that the budget should be higher? Because we're not going to be able to put the budget higher, unfortunately. Sparrow says, I was trolling a little bit with Malik Willis. I did want Bryce, though. I knew you were trolling. Okay. I'm going to just put, okay. Didn't mean to do that, but here comes Michael Pittman bids. Sammy says, I do truly think the solution is a $1,000 budget. I don't think it would increase the time by more than 5%. I just cannot be doing a 7-hour stream on Monday. Okay. Cortland Sutton. Sparrow says, tell everyone to set a queue. I don't think we can eliminate 10-second nomination, though. Like, at least in Sleeper. There is not a way to have a lower nomination than 10 seconds. Unless there's a setting you know about that I don't. I don't think it can be instant, because then you're not really nominating a player, are you? Mason says, the solution for startup auctions I've done, the first half is an auction, 15-ish players per team. Then you transition to a slow draft to finish. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I'm just thinking that through. Logically, like logistically, excuse me. Connor says, $1,000 budget would create infinite overpays and guaranteed league unbalance. That is, I will say, to be fair, I don't know, everyone's going to have different opinions. I don't look at, oh geez, let me nominate a player. Okay, I'll do Golden. I don't look at this league right now and think to myself, that there's a huge imbalance between teams, to be fair. Mason says you can do an auction where each team gets 15 players, then make the rookie draft a rookie vet draft that's 10 to 15 rounds. I think I like the first thing you said better, where 15 players are in the auction and then a slow draft to finish. I think I like that better. Sammy says we do $1,000 budget, cap it at wherever you want, 3 to 4 hours, and then slow auction the scrubs. I'm not opposed to a bigger budget if we can make sure that we're not drafting for like 7 hours. I think I like what Mason mentioned there. So only problem is like what happens in the event that, like, let's say someone doesn't draft 15 players. Or will we still do it where, like, you can only draft 15 and no matter what the budget is left over, that's what your budget is? Just trying to think out loud what makes the most sense here. Yeah, message me your thoughts. What's up, Mike? Yeah, just getting a quick one in. That's what she said. Okay. I'm open, guys, to the idea of having a bigger budget than 100. Because I want it to be a good draft. Okay, let's nominate. Yeah, let's nominate our guy, Elijah. Okay. We are going to do a quick little giveaway here, gang. I don't want to be live too long today. It is Good Friday here in America. But if you guys want to enter to win a live team playbook, all you have to do is like the stream. And what was the code word that we made for today? I'm trying to remember. The code word was Atlas. Or I spelled that wrong. Atlas. So yeah, make sure that you have entered that giveaway. Sparrow says 500 is good, I think, at most. JMO says, was the budget on this? The budget is 200. That's the max bid. Exactly, JMO. Mason says the budget size really doesn't impact the length too much. Just comes down to how many players each team is responsible for getting. Jeez Louise, man. I'm like overwhelmed by auction. Okay. The only thing a higher budget does is that you can distinguish small bid differences closer. That does make sense, but I think I might disagree because, in one sense, hear me out and let me know what you guys think. Wouldn't the end of a draft take so long? Because we're now at the point where most people have like $1 left. So this is going to go quickly, hopefully, from here on out. But if we were doing a real draft, we would have like 10 rounds left. You know, and if some people are saving their budget, would it not take way longer? That's what I'm trying to work out here. Aaron Jones, I'll get in there. I kind of just want to end this mock at this point. Okay, look, we're going to end the mock there. I'm going to let it kind of free roll. Oh, it's my turn to nominate someone. Okay, we're going to nominate... Okay, it gave me Juwan Johnson. I'm sure that's who I'll end up with. That was fun. I don't think we fully have this down yet. At least I'll speak for myself. I don't have this fully down yet. Doesn't matter because I'll be doing a real draft on Monday no matter what. So I'm going to have to have it down. Okay. I did start early today, Brizzleton. That's right. Okay, sure, JMO. That makes sense. Why it says the higher starting the amount, the better, I feel. You see the true differences between high tier guys and low tier guys. T-Gotsi says, yeah, that's a fair point, T-Gotsi. That's a fair point. Okay. We are going to move to the giveaway. 36 eligible people are in today's giveaway for a live team playbook. Let's go ahead and let's spin the wheel here. Okay, good luck to everybody. Our winner for today is Jeb. Jeb217. Jeb, send me a DM on Discord, my friend. I'd be more than happy to hook you up with a free team playbook. So typically on a Thursday, we auction off spots for our upcoming drafts, which is on the Monday. We raffle off all the remaining spots. I will tell you guys that we're not going to be able to do that in the Atlas League because it was the fastest filling league we've ever had, and it filled in 30 hours. Okay, so what I can do, though, is show you guys what the animation would look like if we were actually raffling off these spots on the site. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I thought it would be anticlimactic. I built it out so the way that it would work is each spot would be like this, you know, revolving door of usernames, and it would randomly pick one by one, but it would all kind of happen within the span of 60 seconds or whatever. But this is your official Atlas League. This is the league that will be drafting in the auction draft on Monday. In fact, we're pretty much all in the league already. I think the league is already completely full with all of these people. So, yeah. Shout out to everybody for entering. If you entered and you're already in a league, I apologize. There are people who actually entered and they're not in the league yet, but the spots just filled up. For you guys, don't worry, we'll get you into a league very, very soon. But I appreciate everybody for showing interest and wanting to be a part of things because it's definitely fun for me to kind of see the interest start to skyrocket up there for the leagues. Okay, let's jump into some trade. We have a trade question and a couple team playbooks here for today. Cryptic Rocket with a trade question here. Would you send the 102 and the 402 for Ladd and the 205? This is probably too expensive for me on Ladd McConkey. I do like Ladd McConkey for sure. But that 102 is probably just going to keep getting more expensive. In fact, again, you go to landleagues.com and you look at our real draft ADP, you can see that the 102 has been trending up in all of our drafts. So it just keeps getting more and more expensive. That's probably not going to stop when the draft finishes, when it actually comes. So yeah, I would not be surprised at all whatsoever if, you know, the 102 is just far more valuable than Ladd McConkey come May, for example. So I like Ladd McConkey a lot. I'm not opposed to buying him, but I wouldn't buy him at this price. So my answer would be no. That's too expensive for a Ladd McConkey. Thanks for letting me have a look at the trade there. All right, let's jump in. We've got a team playbook here from Cole. Shout out to Cole, man. Thanks for being an annual motherflocker member. I appreciate you big time. Okay. So we have a Superflex start 9. So that is a smaller starting lineup, I would say. The draft we just did was a start 10. Start 10 seems to become the standard as of late for league sizes, at least. But let's jump in here. Okay. So, Superflex start 9. How much for Beige is the team name, and you are ranked 3rd right now in this league. You're labeled a strong rebuilder by the website, but we'll have a look and see what we think about this squad here. It says, no idea where to go with this team or what moves to make. Hoping you can help with that. Love the videos. No tight end premium in this league, so we want to take a note of that. You have some draft capital this year. The 104, the 107, the 112, the 209, and the 204. I am noticing that you do not have your own 27 first-round pick. I don't like the sound of that, considering the site is labeling you a strong rebuilder. Is Mason with us? We got to figure that out. Why, someone who doesn't have their own first in 27. How is that? I guess it's determined by the age of his roster, maybe. But this guy's not going to be able to rebuild without his pick here. I wonder how we can consider that context for each team. Okay. So, Superflex start 9. You've got Daniels and really no quarterback 2. You've got Bijan and Hampton. You've got Chase, Thomas. I guess you'll start Strange. And I have no idea how you're filling out those flex spots. You're probably doing it with the draft capital. You do not have your first in 2027. Don't like that, to be honest. The way that this team looks, you are going to need to probably sell those picks for some veterans so you can try and compete this year. I would say overall team grade as of today, you got a lot of top end talent. Like this is funny. This kind of reminds me of one of these teams coming out of the auction draft, for example, where you kind of someone may have gone like studs and scrubs strategy with a team like this. A lot of top end talent, but which is fine, but you have no quarterback 2. Your depth is terrible across the board. No tight end of note. I would say I'm probably going to give you C+ range. Feels fair to me. And I don't think you have an opportunity to do anything outside of trying to compete right now. So I'm going to give you the Windows open tag. You don't have your first in 27, so you're going to have to go out there and compete. You have plenty of untouchable level players like Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase, Jaden Daniels. You might have to tear down from some of those guys. Let's see how we can kind of manipulate the roster here a little bit. I would hold the Matthew Goldens on your team. I would hold, names like Jaden Higgins. I have high expectations for them in year 2. If you need to drop a player, you can drop Cedric Tillman if you like. You don't need to drop him, but if you want to clear up some space. Next player I would drop on your team would honestly probably be Rashid Shaheed. I know he just signed a contract, but if you need to drop names, those would be the names I would drop. And I definitely think Chris Rodriguez is worth rostering over, the Tillmans and the Shaheeds. Mac Jones worth rostering, Jalen Noel worth rostering. Plenty of names on the waiver wire that I think are worth adding to your team. You got the 104, the 107, and the 112, and then the 209, as well as the 404 in rookie picks. So yes, you do have a 27 first. You don't have your own next year, so that still keeps you in the windows open mindset where you really have to go out there and try and compete this year. Let's have a look at your draft picks. If you're at the 104, I would definitely say you're a Mendoza team. You could also take one of the big 3 wide receivers. Please note that Mendoza is not going to start week 1. It's almost a guarantee with the Kirk Cousins move. So if you're trying to contend, which you should because you don't have your own picks, then that's probably not the right move. You probably need to trade that pick. If you're at the 107, it's maybe an Omar Cooper, a KC Concepcion, a Denzel Boston, Sadiq could work. I don't know if you have no tight end premium in this league, so might not be a Sadiq for me. It depends on how the draft goes, though. That's probably that range. And then the 112 is going to be a similar amount of players there. Let's see. The 112, you could be looking in a Superflex league at maybe one of those running backs we could add here, the Colemans, Price, Surratts of the world. It's pretty much the same range for those 2 picks, honestly. Now, what I would do with the 104 is I would trade for what you really need to do is trade all these picks for quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers. All 3 of these picks I would trade. I want to net at least one good quarterback as my quarterback 2. And I want to net some flex receivers and running backs. So that is going to be my game plan for you. I don't think you really have another option, considering you don't have your own draft picks, right? I think you kind of put yourself a little bit in a corner there where you need to be competitive. So let's come up with some examples here. You have the 104, the 107, and the 112. So for quarterbacks at the 104, that range of quarterback is interesting. I doubt you can get these top names, but I'm just going to put them out there in case it's possible. You know, the top names here would be Nix, Lawrence, Purdy. Those guys are probably unrealistic. More realistically, you would be looking at a Dak Prescott there. He could be a great quarterback too for you. I'd rather spend the 107 and get a Dak Prescott if possible, or a Jared Goff, a Baker Mayfield. I would rather go that route at quarterback than spend that early pick on one. But you do need to figure out that position. At the 112, can you get a Tyler Shuck? Can you get Kyler Murray isn't a bad fit for you at this point either. So you definitely need to figure out a quarterback 2 there. Now, if we use that 104 on a running back, then I would much rather go that route. I'd rather use the 104 on a running back, on a wide receiver. It's like I said earlier, a little bit of a tough range for the quarterback position. But at the 104, the Igbukas are a great option for you there. Nico Collins might be a little too expensive for this range. George Pickens might be a little too expensive for this range. Those are the top end guys in that kind of category. T. Higgins is safer. Don't love spending the 104 on a T. Higgins. Earlier we saw like a Lad McConkey, for example. This is a decent running back range. The top end is the Taylors and the James Cooks. More realistically, you're probably looking at maybe a Ken Walker here. That's probably that range. At the 107 at running back, this could be a really good range of like your Javonte Williams, your Breece Halls, your Kyron Williams, Chase Brown. This is a much better range to try and add there. As far as receiver, the 107 is a little tricky, honestly. It's a tricky spot for receiver. You could try and buy low on like a Rashee Rice. I don't think you have a Rice on your team. Yeah. You could try and buy low on a Rashee Rice and bank that he is going to, the off-field issues are going to stop. I don't think you get like a Zay Flowers for this price, but I would be totally willing to do Zay Flowers, a Jalen Waddle. That later first is probably where you could try and wiggle your way into a DJ Moore, Devontae Adams, those type of names. So let's just say you're able to pull off 3 of these type of deals. Let's say at the 104, you net a Ken Walker. I like that. And then you come back at the 107, you get a Jared Goff. At the 112, you grab a DJ Moore, for example. You have completely put yourself in a corner, so you can't really afford at this point, in my opinion. People might have a different opinion, but in my opinion, you really cannot be in a position where you just draft a rookie. You don't have your first round pick. So you using all these picks to draft rookies, that is the absolute number one thing whoever owns your 27 first round pick wants you to do, because you're not going to be as competitive as you need to be. You're just not. So you make a move like this. Now you're starting Daniels, Goff. You've still, by the way, haven't lost your hammer. So you're still starting Bijan Hampton, Jamar Chase, Brian Thomas, Brenton Strange. All right. But then your last flex spots become Ken Walker and DJ Moore instead of Jaden Higgins and Matthew Golden. That gives you a legitimate chance to actually compete this year. And you can actually go into the season keeping your hammers, keeping your Daniels, Robinson, Hampton, Chase, and then you can decide in season, you have that flexibility if you want to tear off one of those guys. Let's say a couple injuries occur. There's no tight end that you can rely on. Maybe you can tear down from a Bijan then. Maybe you can tear down from a Jamar Chase then. I might be more aggressively tearing down if you were in like a start 11 type of lineup, but in a start 9, I think you've got enough. In a start 11, I think you have in a start 9, enough there if you can make some of these moves to go out and compete this year. Your own 27 first that you have is from Love Herbs. And Love Herbs is team 8 here. It's not a very good team. So that could end up being a very valuable pick, which is great that you have that on your side right now. Rami says, I'm sticking and picking wide receiver at 4. Is this your team, Rami? Is this your team? Are you Cole here? Might have different usernames. I don't think he has the depth, man, to add onto the 107 to get a Purdy. I think that's a little unrealistic. But, and I'd be cautious to go. Look, the reason, Cole, I didn't say names like Travis Hunter is because, again, you need to win this year. It's all funneled through the tag I've given your team, which is a Windows Open tag. You have no control of any of your 27 picks. You need to be as uber competitive as you can be. So you can go after the Travis Hunters. These guys who are a little bit, haven't really established themselves yet. You can go after the Travis Hunters, the Christian Watsons, I just would rather go the guys that are going to produce for you. Adams, DJ Moore. Everyone that I suggested you went out and made a trade for, I know that they can produce for you straight away in your number 1. So I would heavily suggest you to keep that in the forefront of your mind as you're making trades. You need to be competitive this year. You do not control your 2027 picks. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me have a look at the team. I hope that is a comprehensive view. Like I said, I was originally thinking we might tear down from one of these big names, but I think you have enough capital, whereas if you can get some of those deals done, you can afford to hold your hammers and then kind of build out the rest of your squad with those rookie picks and kind of moving them around. Appreciate you big time, my dude. Let's go to Chief Bigfoot. This is probably the last review of today. If you do want to get a review tonight, I'll put a link in the chat for you guys. No pressure at all. It is Good Friday here, so I don't want to stream too long anyway. Chief Bigfoot, this is an orphan team. And it's a Superflex start 10. Orphan team, Superflex start 10. So that is one more flex spot than the team that we had just reviewed there. So let's have a gaze. You're currently ranked, where are you here? You're currently ranked 6th in this league. Okay. He says, orphan team. I believe the team took 5th last year. Minimal draft capital this year, but have all 27 picks. I should be able to compete with a few good moves. Thanks again, bro. Okay. Let's have a gaze. We've got Mahomes, Stroud as our starting quarterbacks. Genty, Etienne, Pickens, McConkey, Warren. And then we are flexing Rice, Addison. Yeah. Interesting team. Is there a premium here? There's no premium. That sucks. I was going to say maybe we can use Warren in a move, but Yeah, I think you're in a little bit of a difficult spot, to be honest with you, because Mahomes is not really, at least in my experience, at this point of his career, like coming off that injury, I think he's a good buy low, but he's not someone that you can really tear down from. You know, if you want to gain more capital, or like a better team overall, or fill out some of those spots with your flexes. Genty's your only untouchable, but we might have to tear down from him. Your holds on this team, for me, would include Tank Bigsby, Shedeur Sanders. Given the quarterback room that you have, I think you need to hold him at this point, unless a good offer comes through. Like, everyone has a price, right? Jalen Noel would be in that category, as well as Jalen Coker, both of the Jalens. If you need to drop someone, I'd start with Deontay Thornton. Not that I want to actively drop him, but just if you need to clear space, I'd also say Joe Milton. On your waiver wire, Malik Willis has got to be picked up, my friend. And I said this on yesterday's stream to someone else. I would say the same thing to you. How much fab do you have when waivers open? Do you have a $100 budget? I'd drop $100, because you could really use a quarterback too. That's going to give you a lot of flexibility with your roster there. Overall team grade, it's an interesting one. It's not a bad team at all, but it's very much middle of the pack. I'd probably say C is where I would give this orphan that you took over. Probably right around a C, and I would label you a sleeper right now. You're kind of one of these teams where there's enough there where you could compete. If your team can stay healthy, I imagine you could probably make the playoffs. But you're certainly not a favorite by any means. He says waivers are locked until the draft, $100 on Fab. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing really interesting on your waiver wire. I would drop $100 pretty much straight away on Malik Willis personally if I were you, my friend. Not going to go to the war room with this specific team because you don't really have any draft capital that's worth discussing. You've got the 307, the 309. That's not really going to change your team. I think really the one move that you can make to kind of give you a little bit of a stronger, because you really need another flex. You've got Mahomes. We don't know if Mahomes is going to start straight away. Hopefully that quarterback too is Malik Willis for you to start. Then Genty, Etienne, Pickens, Ladd, Warren. And you're flexing again, Rice, Addison. That last flex is really rough. Your running back 3 is really rough. I am not opposed to tearing off of Genty, which this is a player I haven't really told anyone to sell, but he really is your only leverage spot. You can't tear down off of Mahomes. When you're doing a tear down, it needs to actually be effective, right? You don't want to take a player and say, can I tear down to one usable guy and get an asset that doesn't matter in return, like a second rounder, right? Has to be a name that's really high there in the rankings so you can effectively tear down. You know, like, I don't think you can tear down from a quarterback. I don't think there's a receiver you can tear down from. And with Tyler Warren, that's why I was trying to see if it was a tight end premium. The tight end premium would have maybe given you that ability. I don't think you have that ability. I think Genty's your only wiggle room here if you want to kind of, you know, give yourself a little bit of more breathers there with your flex spots. I mean, look, maybe there's a scenario here where Ricky Pearsall, develops and becomes a flex. Trey Benson develops. JCM wins the job. But we're certainly not banking on that. You know what I mean? And Ryan, I always want everyone to submit like all their ideas, because most of the time, like, you guys are submitting awesome ideas. I always want to include them. But this is kind of what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's really worth you tearing down from a Pickens to get a Devonta Smith in a second. I don't think that's really going to improve your team the way we need it to. Then you're going to have a worse receiver in a second round pick to fill out that flex spot, you know. But I want to hear from you guys. Please let me know if you guys have any ideas for this team. But let's go to Genty here. I think this is your wiggle room. And ideally what we can do is, I like your receiver room enough. I like to add 2 running backs in return for Genty. So if we can find a team that has a lot of strength at running back, okay, so this might actually work. Like a Brees Tootin is a great start. Or, a Breece Hall and a Travion is a great start. I don't know if you can net more than that, but what I'd like to do is a small upgrade somewhere else. So, for example, you go from, let's say, Jordan Addison to Jamison Williams or something. Or what will be more effective there is getting to Egbuka, but Egbuka is going to be harder to net. I'd say like a Rice for Egbuka. That way you don't have that concern kind of hanging over your shoulders of if he's going to play. That being Rashee Rice. I think he's going to play. By the way, I don't have any expectations that he won't. If you can't do that, can you add some draft capital on top of this? This really doesn't feel good. I don't like the way that this is panning out. But can you add a 107, and send back JCM, for example? Because I really don't think this is currently maximizing the return on Genty. It's not exactly serving the purpose we want it to. And maybe that's because I don't have a lot of trust in Breece this year in particular. Let's keep looking, though. Yeah. I mean, an Achane Henry would be pretty enticing to me. I wonder if they'd be willing to do that. I don't love Henry, but that's kind of more the range I was thinking. Achane Henry. And maybe you do an Addison Marvin swap on top of it. That, I think, would be worth your time. And that accomplishes us wanting to give you an additional running back and a more reliable flex. Well, we're perceiving Marvin's going to turn into that, right? Bucky Judkins is actually really fun. Okay, this is ooh, no, this is not perfect. I was going to say this is perfect, but you're not going to go McCaffrey Jacobs. Yeah, that sucks. Man, there isn't a perfect team out there, unfortunately, to make a deal with. But those would be the main, I guess, structures I'd want to work within. If you can't get the 107, any future first will do. Yeah, not a perfect fit. I'm not going to lie to you. What I will say is be flexible with this team. The good news is you have your picks in 2027. And I will say in season, if you're a seller, okay? If you're a seller in season, let's say things aren't going well. I actually don't think you would need to sell Mahomes. But Etienne, you could look at moving. Rice, you could look at moving. Those are your main guys. And I would say for Etienne, you're looking for a mid-future first. And it would be the same price on Rashee Rice as well. Let me know if you have questions here, Chief Bigfoot. But unfortunately, a Genty teardown is more possible in other leagues. Your league is just does not have the flexibility that others do. Yeah. But I appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me look at the squad. And that is probably going to be it for today. I appreciate y'all big time. Thanks for letting me hang out with you today. Definitely go check out landleagues.com. The next stream that we are doing is going to be a real draft on Monday night. Make sure you come join us. It'll be my first real draft in over 3 years. So I'm excited to hang out with y'all then. Enjoy the rest of your night. Good Friday. Happy Easter to everybody. And we'll see you later. Nothing but love.